All right, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming to today's speech. Today we're going to talk about how to be a high school head coach. I know that all of y'all are in here because you aspire to be high school head coaches, so I welcome you, and hopefully you get the information you need from this speech. One of the things that I want you to know is a funny little story. I think some of y'all may have heard this before. When I was in high school, my coach came to me and he said, "Hey, you're going to be a good coach one day." And I know you've heard this story before. And I kind of looked at him and I said, "No, I'm not going to be a coach. Coaches are people who can't play sports." So I didn't really think about how the coach felt about that. And I said, "I'm really good at sports, so I'm not going to do that. So good luck." But what's funny is my whole high school life, everything I did, people always told me, "Man, you have a gift to speak. You could sell. You could teach. You could preach." And I just never really had the desire to do it. What I want to do today is inform y'all on a couple of topics about coaching. There's a lot of questions that people look for when they get into coaching. First thing, you guys do this, when you have a coach, you want to make sure he knows what he's talking about. Is he credible? Alright, well, as you all know, but for the speech purposes, I have credibility. Alright, so coach a Division III Haitian national team in soccer, played football professionally, played soccer professionally, and on top of that, I'm a very decorated high school coach as we speak. State championships, appearances, all-state kickers, so on and so forth. But what we want to know, there's a couple of questions, and these are going to be my three main points, and then I'll let you go. A couple of questions. A coach once asked his players, "What do you think a coach should be?" Alright, and this particular player asked him three questions. So he didn't answer the question, he asked him three questions. And this is what he said. He said, "Is a coach all about winning?" Okay. And then he said, "Is a coach a mission? Is he a missionary? Is it a mission?" And then finally, is a coach's job just to win championships? Is that really it? So we'll kind of go a little out of order, but the first point is, yes, a coach is a mission. It's a mission to be a coach. It's a missionary position. All right, it's something that you should strive to do. As a coach, it's detrimental to develop your players. Some of y'all in this room have had life experiences, to where we've been able to talk with each other and get you through life. And I've tried my best to lead by example through Matthew 5:16. Two is we get into situations where most people aren't. The locker room of the state championship game. That was crazy. We lost this year. The locker room when we won versus the locker room when we lost was completely different. And we had a chance to minister. So us as coaches had a chance to minister to the players during that time. In our classes here, we have a chance to minister. We have a chance to give you guys an opportunity to learn. Now, if I stood up here in front of you and I was a drunk and I cussed at you all the time and I went to clubs, I don't know if you would respect me as much. So yes, it is very important as a coach to be someone who leads by example. The next thing you want to know about coaching, this was interesting. This is from the University of Notre Dame, so you're going to have to forgive me because I have to read it. University of Notre Dame says, "Coaches are expected to be more than just teachers and trainers. They're expected to be mentors, a moral compass, an instructor, a disciplinarian, and a confidant. They are expected to minister in all areas." And I thought that was pretty interesting. And then lastly, on this first point, if you make coaching a job, eventually it's going to become stale. When a job becomes stale, that means you lose the attention of your players. When the season is over, you tune out. You can't be found. Being stale as a coach is a horrible, horrible thing to do. So if you look at it, instead of looking at it as a job, like, "Hey, this is my job to coach you," look at it as every day is a ministry opportunity. Every day I have a chance to help one person. I don't know if I change people's lives, but if I could help one person every day, coaching will never be a job. So that kind of summarizes the point on coaching. The next question was, do coaches only coach to win games? And I thought this one was interesting because my answer would typically be yes. That's what we do. And you all know, those of you that studied Vince Lombardi said winning is not everything, it's the only thing. So we all assumed it was what? The only thing. We all assumed it was football, right? But that's not the case. We know, after studying Vince Lombardi deeper, it's all about winning at life. So a lot of people got confused with Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi wanted his people to be better than they were today. They wanted to be better tomorrow. The next point is, a coach that only coaches to win games will lose his purpose. What happens when you don't have a good team? What happens when you lose 16 games? You get fired, right? You get fired, things don't go well. But if I'm only coaching to win games, and y'all know me, I am very competitive, but if I'm truly only coaching to win games, I'm not going to last. Because I'll get fired, like you said. I'll get fired, I'll go somewhere else, I'll try to win games, and in the meantime, I'm sacrificing people. Maybe someone on the bottom of the roster needs a little bit of my attention, and I can't give it to them, because I just want to win. And then coaching, finally, in that first point, is about chasing excellence. If you all every day chase excellence, you'll be fine. Chase excellence in your spiritual life, your physical life, and your scholarly life, so that's in school, then all things will eventually work out. The second point is going into something that, or the third point, I'm sorry, is going into the final stage. Is my job to get you to college? It's a good question. Is my job to get you to college? You all say yes. Do you know it's not? It's crazy. My job is not to get you to college. Nowhere on my job responsibilities as a high school coach does it say, get your kids to college. Interesting though. If my job was to get everyone to college, I wouldn't have a job. Because I don't get everyone to college. But my job as a mentor, that's the difference. As a mentor is to do what? Is to get you to college. Is to get you to the next phase. What about the people that don't go to college? If my job is to get you to college and you don't go to college, do I just give up on you? No, not at all. So that's something that I found this part really interesting when you really dug deep into it. If the athlete chooses to go to college, the coach is going to take care of him. If that's his job. If the athlete chooses not to go to college, the coach is just going to... You guys see it. Kids come in, they don't go to college. Some coaches give them a hug, some coaches shun them. You know, a high school coach that's truly a mentor in this for the ministry will not shun that kid. And then in closing, the one thing to remember about coaching, if you aspire to be a high school coach, is put God first. I'm being serious. Even when you lose games, and you got to put your arm around somebody and they're crying, and it's the last game of their life and there's nothing else they can do and they may never play another minute of that sport ever again, you've got to be able to hug them, love them, and you got to be able to show them Christ. If you can't show them Christ in everything you do, then why are you coaching? It's easy at a Christian school to do that, but it can be done, and it is being done at private or public schools all across the country. So that's really all I wanted to let y'all know about coaching. I really appreciate y'all being here today. Thank you so much, and y'all have a good day. Is that off? All right, so...